Hello everybody, Vic here with another video, and today I'm going to make some Halloween fans very upset. I know you guys saw the title, and you're already thinking to yourself, there's no way Vic is going to come on here and talk trash about Halloween 2, one of the most beloved sequels in the entire franchise. Many Halloween 2 fans out there, I want you to know, I'm a fan too. No, it's not my favorite sequel in the franchise. My favorite sequel is Halloween 4. But Halloween 2, I mean, it's up there. It's in my top 3. It's definitely one of the best movies in the franchise. That said, don't be thrown off by the title. I'm going to offer some suggestions to make Halloween 2 even better. Just my subjective thoughts, as we all have about the Halloween franchise. In the comments, let me know your thoughts on Halloween 2. What would you do to make it better? And of course, as always, hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not. All right, listen, Halloween 2. Well, perfect movie to watch after you're done with the original Halloween. It's a perfect second movie. They go together like peanut butter and jelly, picks up exactly where the first one left off. There's so much to appreciate about Halloween 2. You have Dean Cundley's cinematography. This movie looks amazing, especially in 4K, it looks great. You have the great sync score. We have to give tons of praise to whoever had the brilliant idea of playing Mr. Sandman at the beginning of this movie. Such a creepy song when mixed with the Halloween feel. Mr. Sandman always gets me. Love it here, love it at the beginning of H2O. What else can you say about Halloween 2? Well, made it a couple years after the original Halloween. John Carpenter didn't want to come back to direct it because really his heart wasn't in the idea of Halloween 2. He didn't think there was a story here. He wanted to quickly move to the anthology thing, which eventually happened with Halloween 3. So John Carpenter really didn't want to be involved with this movie. Didn't really have a story in mind, but was sort of forced contractually to write the movie. And of course, that's where we get the brother-sister combination. Michael and Lorie being brother and sister is John Carpenter with a six-pack of beer, not knowing what else to write, and finally figuring, hey, let's throw in the damn Empire Strikes Back twist here, and let's have them be brother and sister. And he's hated the idea ever since he came up with it. And look, the only real backlash I've seen for Halloween 2 in recent years was Halloween 2018 coming out and supposedly restoring the purity of Michael and brother not being brother and sister. That combined with a John Carpenter interview surfacing where he was being critical of Halloween 2, saying it's a stupid movie with a stupid storyline that, of course, he wrote. So people have such a respect for Carpenter, so I understand that that made people sort of turn a little bit on Halloween 2, but I still think it's one of the most popular movies in the franchise. You have a wonderful performance by Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis. Jamie Lee Curtis is back. She does very little in the movie, but in what she does, she's pretty solid. And of course, we have to say that Dick Warlock, it does a great job as Michael Myers. I think when you ask some people really feel like Dick Warlock's Michael here is the definitive Michael. I still go with Nick Castle, but I understand the idea of the slow, iconic creepiness of Dick Warlock's Michael Myers, infusing Michael with a whole different feel from the first movie, for better or worse. It's a different feel, different character than the first movie, so you got to give mad love and respect for Dick Warlock, who did a great job. Okay, but listen, this video is not called Everything Great About Halloween 2. It is called How to Fix Halloween 2. So let me get to some things that I would say aren't really deal breakers in any sense. None of these things are really like drag the movie down to any kind of abyss. This is not Halloween Resurrection. This is not, for me at least, this is not Halloween Ends in terms of things that I feel like really destroy the movie, but certain things that, for me at least, would make the movie a little bit better. And the first thing I'm going to call out is you're replaying the opening of the original Halloween at the beginning of Halloween 2, or you're kind of doing the recap thing. 80s horror movies, especially Friday the 13th, always would spend the opening minutes recapping the previous movies. I sort of understand it, and it makes sense here because it's going to pick up exactly where the last one left off. So catch the audience, whatever small audience hadn't seen the original Halloween, catch them up to speed. But if you're doing that, and you're going to do reshoots of how the ending of part 1 was, you got to get the logical consistency here. You got to be able to watch both movies back to back and say, hey, that makes sense. That's what happened. They got Michael Myers floating off the damn balcony, like walking on thin air as he gets shot 7 times this movie instead of 6. Listen, it's a small nitpick, I know, and it looks hilarious. Michael floating on air as he flies off the balcony here in Halloween 2. I just think you could have paid attention to, how that actually happened in Halloween. There's no damn balcony, nowhere for him to be floating off like he does in Halloween 2. But okay, that aside, minor nitpick. Let's talk about our first real death in the movie, which is the neighbor. I think her name is Alice or Allison. Might have been a nod to Alice from Friday the 13th Part 2. Who knows? But this was a reshoot. This was a death added afterwards because I guess Carpenter didn't think the first cut was scary, wanted to add more gore, up the body count because at this point, Halloween 2 had come out after now Friday the 13th, and the slasher genre had sort of moved away from the suspense of the original Halloween and moved into more blood, gore, higher body counts, big time slasher, blood and guts, what the 80s were known for. So it has a different kind of thing from the original Halloween, and we need more deaths. So this unlucky neighbor of Mr. and Mrs. Elrod, Allison, who comes out to check on them because Michael, of course, had decided, like, listen, Miss Elrod, Mr. Elrod, you want your bologna sandwich with mayonnaise, but you're missing the one key ingredient, which is blood on the bologna sandwich, blood all over the kitchen counter. So, Mr. and Mr. Elrod, hopefully they didn't eat that bloody mayonnaise sandwich. But now he has a knife. He's going to leave the old couple alone and walk over to Allison's house. Now, look, this is a solid overall scene because it's creepy as hell to see her on the phone and the blurry background of Michael walking into the house. I dig it. I love it. My only problem with the scene is the execution of the actual death because Alice, she sees the door open, which, again, this is the 80s, so I understand she hasn't seen Scream. These aren't self-aware characters. In today's movie or any movie post-Scream, if your friend just told you on the phone there's a killer on the loose, you turn and see the front door open, you're slowly backing out the damn front door and running to the neighbor's house. But Alice is going to approach the front door, is anybody there? Is someone here? I was like, well, someone opened the front door, Alice, so somebody's clearly in the house. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this situation out. But the execution of the death scene, she walks into the room slowly. And Michael has crouched down there in the room, right? And that's fine. You want to have a good jump scare where Michael jumps up and gets her out of nowhere. But the problem is, when she walks in the living room, she scans the entire room. Like, she looks to the right, to the left, she scans the room. From her peripheral, there's literally no possibility that she couldn't see Michael crouching down there. Where's Michael hiding that her scanning the room doesn't pick up on Michael being there? It's not like Michael's, a 5-pound nothing that can hide on the couch. He's a grown damn man. She's going to see him crouching down. So the execution has made it seem like ridiculous that she didn't see him there. And look, it's still a good death scene. I understand why Carpenter felt like you needed a death scene here. So I'm all about that. It's okay. All right, let's move on now. Let's move on to Lorie Strode being in the hospital. I don't know if there was a choice on her behalf to not really do much in this movie or if it was just the writing, but you could have done more with Jamie Lee Curtis here, Lorie Strode. She's in and out of comatoseness and all that. I understand that, she's drugged up and all this stuff. And, give her a couple more scenes where she's maybe talking about Annie or Linda or asking about Michael Myers, asking more questions. Maybe have Dr. Loomis come and see her just to check on her. We need more lore in this movie. It's kind of the whole thing with Halloween Kills as well, where having your main person sidelined for the crux of the movie is never really a great idea. So I would 100% give Lorie more screen time. I know maybe Jamie Lee Curtis was kind of over the whole thing at this point. She announced that Halloween 2 was going to be her last horror film. So she wanted to move on to greener pastures, which I guess would be Trading Places in 1983. But we need more Lorie Strode here. And also, by the way, can we get a better explanation of where Lorie Strode's parents are? Because I understand Lorie Strode's parents maybe having a midlife crisis or out partying like it's 1969 here in this movie, but I got to think someone's able to get in contact with them eventually. Eventually, I mean, how late does this night go? I mean, she's in the hospital, and do her parents ever show up? I mean, they can't find her the entire damn movie, and they don't think to come and check. And I mean, I just feel like the cops, someone will be able to get in contact with their parents. We need a better explanation of what happened to her parents. Where the hell are they? We don't know. Okay. Now, one of the most ridiculous scenes in this movie, one of the only scenes I feel like kind of doesn't feel like this is a very grounded, straightforward horror film. There's no comedy here. This is like a straightforward, very serious horror film. And one of the only scenes that kind of take me out of it and make me chuckle is the whole Ben Tramer death scene. I don't know what the hell was that cop doing flying down this neighborhood road at apparently 90 miles per hour, runs right into Ben Tramer. Perfect distraction from Loomis and Brackett. I mean, this scene is ridiculous and just it's sort of unneeded. I don't know, man. It always just, I'm like thinking, man, Ben Tramer's parents, someone's going to be getting a big ass lawsuit against the police department because this is just straight up incompetence, murder. I don't know what you want to call it, but and poor Lorie Strode. I mean, not only are her friends killed on this night, but then the boy she has a crush on, she doesn't know this yet, the boy she has a crush on, she wanted to go to the dance with, now he's dead too because of all this nonsense. And it wasn't even Michael that killed him, it was basically the police department. Loomis is sort of a culpable here as well. So I don't know, that Ben Tramer death scene, that car coming in so fast, it's just, I don't understand what's going on there. I would probably take that out. Okay, there's one character, one sort of name from the original Halloween that I feel like they missed an opportunity to bring him back for the sequel. I guess not even bring him back, but just bring him into the sequel. And that's Annie's boyfriend, Paul. Remember Annie talking to Paul on the phone? She was going to go see Paul, visit him. Of course, Annie never made it because Michael killed her. But you could have had Paul maybe show up to Annie's house to figure out what's going on, show maybe him grieving over Annie. Maybe he's going to come to the hospital to see Lorie. It's good continuity to think about, hey, this dude's girlfriend just got killed, and like, we didn't see who the character was, but maybe bring him in here. I mean, you can kill him off if you want, but just giving more connective tissue to the original Halloween, I feel like, if you can find a way to include the character Paul. Okay, also speaking of Annie, I understand in this movie that, Brackett, they're doing a thing with him that I feel like is actually not done a lot in horror movies, where they're showing, the actual traumatic effects of a character dying. Like Annie dies, Brackett has to identify the body. It's actually really heavy stuff for like an 80s slasher. I feel like that is like really tough because you remember Brackett and Annie's relationship in the first movie. They seem like a great father-daughter combo. So it's actually kind of heartbreaking if you think about him having to see her body like that. I do wish the movie could have done more with Brackett. Brackett's one of those characters I feel like, even though I love Meeker, I wouldn't mind if Brackett came back for all the sequels, Halloween 4, 5, 6. But as much as I'd like to see Brackett have a bigger role here, I can't really argue with the logic here that once he finds his daughter's dead body, he's going to go home and have to inform, his wife. And also, he's going to be so traumatized that he's not going to care about chasing Michael Myers there. And I do like, the guy that took over for Brackett. He does a good job with Loomis of taking Loomis seriously, taking Michael seriously. But it would have been nice to get an update on Brackett, maybe see him later in the movie, or have him come back for 4, 5, or 6. It's just kind of a sad last thing for him. I know everybody's going to say we see him again in Halloween Kills, but he has such a dumb ending in Halloween Kills too. You're still entitled to one good scare, and then, of course, Michael ends up killing him and the whole damn mob. It just was kind of ridiculous. Okay, let's talk about Michael Myers himself, played by Dick Warlock. Is there anything really with this character, Michael, that needs to be improved in this movie? Not really. I mean, I guess you could say, arguably, the Michael we know from the original Halloween maybe isn't so bold to actually go to a public hospital and kill the entire hospital staff. He's more low-key in the first movie. He likes to really zero in on one person, so he's only putting himself out there by coming to the hospital. But overall, this is a fantastic performance by Dick Warlock. There's only one time where I'm kind of like, man, I don't know. This is kind of... on rewatches, you kind of notice that final chase scene with Michael and Lorie. Okay, Michael kills the nurse. Lorie just takes off running, right? And, it's a classic chase scene. So the classic chase scene is like basically Laurie's down the hall and you see in the shot Michael walking behind her. But there's such a difference in their speed here. Michael's walking so slow, so zombie-like, that it almost makes you feel like it would be impossible for him to actually catch Lorie. Like, you think about the chase scene, and I know you did last summer with Helen and with what-her-face's Ben Willis. That damn fisherman's actually walking really fast. He's walking with a purpose. He's like hot on her trail, and I know that Michael's not going to be like walking like fast per se, but he walked at a healthy speed in the first movie. This one he's very, very slow, and it works for most of the movie. Just that chase scene, he's so far behind Lorie. You think about when Lorie goes outside and goes to the car, and like Jimmy comes and passes out. Michael's so slow walking that takes him forever just to show up in the damn lighted shadows across the parking lot. But I understand that Michael's been walking slow the entire movie, that for this one chase scene, we suddenly can't have him speed up. I mean, he can't suddenly become Michael in the end of Curse of Michael Myers where he's running down the tunnel. But there's just maybe have Lorie move slower, though, so it doesn't seem like Michael's moving that slow. I don't know, but if you watch that chase scene now, that's the only thing that stands out. It's like, man, Michael, you were never going to catch Lorie. Like, you're walking so slow. Like, when he's walking to the elevator, it's like he actually knows, like, the idea that, hey, I can get her in this elevator right now, but he's still moving, like, so slow as if it doesn't even matter. And then the elevator door closes. So I just, for one scene, would either have Lorie walk slower or have Michael walk faster, just so it's not such a huge difference where you're really almost not fearing for Laurie's life. You're like, man, he's walking so slow, like a damn slug could get away from this version of Michael. That said, just a small thing I'd say. Okay, let's talk about the character of Jimmy. Jimmy, who is, I guess, sort of teased as a new love interest for Laurie, which I guess is okay because her old would-be love interest, Ben Tramer, had been tragically killed by the stupid police officers in Haddonfield. So I'm okay with Jimmy sort of being nice to Laurie and being a friend to her at the hospital, but they should have kept in the part they had in the TV ending, I guess, the TV version. They have Jimmy being in the ambulance with Laurie at the end. I do feel like they should have kept that because in the theatrical, Jimmy does just disappear from the movie. I mean, he passes out in the car, and we're not meant to take that as he died, which is I understand he just passed out because he has a concussion, I guess. But they need to add those TV scenes back of Jimmy like falling on the blood, all this and that, and then show him in the ambulance at the end because it's almost like a Where's Paul situation from Friday the 13th Part 2 where we really don't know what happened to Jimmy at the end. So more closure for Jimmy would have been pretty good. Okay, finally, the one thing I have to say about Halloween 2, the reason why Halloween 2 doesn't rank above Halloween 4 for me personally is I think Halloween 4 overall has a better cast of characters, more likable characters. You get to know the characters. When some of the characters die, you actually feel for them. One big thing I'd say about Halloween 2 that kind of rubs me in the same way of like Halloween Resurrection. This hospital staff, you just never really get to know them. Like, they're not characters you care about. So he's killing the hospital staff, and some of these are fun death scenes, but they're not meaningful death scenes because the hospital staff basically becomes nameless characters you don't care about. What we need in this movie is we need one of the hospital staff to sort of step up and take over sort of a main protagonist role. If we're going to sideline Lorie Strode, we're going to have her in bed the entire movie. Let's have one of the hospital staff kind of step up, put more of a focus on them, make us care about that character. So if you do want to kill them off at the end, we actually care about at least one hospital staff member. They needed to spotlight one hospital staff member, make them a central character, and that would have at least upped the characterization of this movie. Because for me right now, it's like it has the worst cast of characters outside of Loomis, of course, and it has the worst cast of characters to me of like almost all the sequels because we just don't care about any of this damn hospital staff. I think even Halloween 5, you could argue that Tina as a side character, you care about her more than you would any of the hospital staff. So we just need more meat on the bones with the hospital staff. And I think that would have elevated the movie even higher than where it's at now. So listen, these are just some small thoughts I have about Halloween 2 and things I would do to make it a little bit better. But of course, again, it's a classic horror film. You can watch part 2 right after part 1, have a jolly good time. So there's nothing here I need to do in terms of like a full-blown dissection. This movie doesn't need full-blown surgery to make it watchable like some of the entries. It's a solid, good Halloween sequel. I do like it better than Halloween 2018. I like it better than the entire new trilogy. But, and again, in the comments, let me know what you think about Halloween 2. What would you do to make it a little bit better if you could? And until next time, you guys take care.